Hello and welcome to Concordia On-Air. My name is Ingrid.
And my name is Magnar.
On today's show,
in news, Study Away Mythbuster Week.
In sports, we have Track on Tap.
And on A&E,
Hamilton.
All that and more on Concordia On-Air.
So, do you have any upcoming exams now?
Upcoming exams? Not so much. I'm not in a lot of classes that actually have exams this semester, so that's nice.
You're lucky.
I think my next one is a psychology exam, but that's not until after spring break. So I've got a while. It's really, really nice. What about you?
Oh, well, I have my third and fourth exam now, the 2 next weeks.
Oh my goodness.
So I already had 2 and got them back. So
Which ones did you already have?
I had biology lab and math.
Okay.
And I have biology now on Friday. And then I have history
Oh wow,
next Friday.
that's a lot.
Yeah. And I haven't even started history. I just focus on the biology. So I take every test, except for 2 first, which was only 1 day difference. I have taken every test now with 1 week.
Oh,
so
that's nice.
So this week is only biology. I haven't even touched history. I just throw the book away this week. And I'm going to pick it up again on Saturday.
I feel like science is harder to study for than history too. So
Yeah.
it's probably a good idea to focus your energy onto that.
Yeah, it's a lot of new thing, hydrogen and all that kind of stuff that you don't ever think about, and suddenly you need to memorize it like it's no tomorrow.
Yep, I'm glad that I'm not in any science classes. Yep.
Was it a requirement you need to have one, or?
Yeah, I took a class in high school that counted as college credit, so I haven't had to take class at all, like a science class at all in college, which is super nice.
I need to take 2, and I got 1.
Oof.
I got 1 succeed, and 1 more I need to take. So both history, biology, and mathematics, I had transfer points from Norway, but
But they didn't.
they did count. But I need to take.
Another one. Oh,
Yeah.
I see.
The same with religion. I only need to take 1 religion
One more.
class.
Yep. I think religion is the only class that I have left, like as one of those like core classes outside of my majors.
Yeah, I heard that
So-
many people wait with that.
Yep, I'm gonna take it my last semester, I think.
Why?
Why? Next fall, I am going to Washington, D.C. to study political science and then do some kind of internship there. So I won't be able to take a religion class because it's mostly poli-sci classes that they offer because it is the nation's capital, so that's a really good place to learn about politics. So that's why I'm leaving it for my last semester. And there's always so many offered that like I know there's bound to be something that I am excited to learn about. So
I think I'm going to motion up. Here we go.
Yes.
You guys ready back there?
Yes. And now over to sport.
Hi, I'm Elise.
And I'm Keith.
Last week, Concordia was graced with the amazing A Piece of My Mind exhibit by John Noldner. The award-winning photographer created the collection by traveling 40,000 miles across the United States to gather stories from a wide range of participants. From youths in New York to reformed adults in California, the exhibit showcases answers to the question, what does peace mean to you? Tonight is the final chance to see the exhibition in the Centrum, as a keynote speech will be given by Noldner at 7. You can find more information about the project at www.apieceofmymind.net.
If there's something strange in your neighborhood, don't fret. No, it's not Ghostbusters, but something much more exciting. The Global Learning Office is hosting Mythbusters Week currently to help answer any questions or clear up any misconceptions about studying away. There's a table set up in the atrium of Knutson Campus Center, along with a Global Learning Expo held today. You can also stop by the Global Learning Office in Lorenzen 120. With a variety of programs offered, such as a semester, year-long, or May term, there's something for almost everyone.
Here in the FM area, we know all too much about spring floods. With annual flooding from the Red River causing damage in the metro, the city began a diversion project for the Fargo Dam about a decade ago, a project which is expected to be completed as soon as 2026. However, this plan may have negative consequences for farmers in a water retention area upstream. Farmers in the area are threatened by the possibility of crop losses due to the diversion channel, while some are even being made to sell land or relocate for the channel's construction. Mitigation and compensation programs are currently underway to lessen the impact of the Fargo Dam on local farmers.
Last week, volunteers filled the Shields Arena in a 4-day-long mobile pack event. The program, created by Feed My Starving Children, works to secure meals for children in developing countries around the world. Volunteers pack bags with basic necessities, including vitamins, vegetables, soy, and grains, which are then sent to 70 nations worldwide. While volunteers physically feed hungry children around the world, some comment that program also feeds the spirits of local children, teaching youth volunteers the value of compassion and service. This year, the Fargo Mobile Pack event filled about 2.1 million bags of food, enough to feed over 5,000 children for a year. If you missed this year's event but you'd still like to contribute, you can donate by visiting fmsc.org.
If you were a 90s kid, there's sure to be a handful of 90s staples you remember. Tamagotchis, Blockbuster video stores, Furbies, and of course, Dunkaroos, the cookies you could dunk, dip, and slather in frosting yourself. While the popular 90s snack left the U.S. market in 2012, General Mills has just announced that it will be returning to stores. The nostalgia-filled snack originally featured cookies with the letter D in the middle, along with a pouch of dippable frosting in flavors like chocolate, vanilla, strawberry, chocolate chip, and rainbow sprinkles. Along with the return of the snacks, fans expect to see a comeback of Dunkin', Dunkaroo's kangaroo mascot. You can expect to find Dunkaroos in a store near you as soon as this summer.
With the 2020 presidential race underway, many eyes were glued to the Iowa caucus. Held on February 3rd, the caucus was the first to start the nomination process for both the Republican and Democratic parties. After a widespread reporting issue caused by a malfunction with a mobile app, the results were finally announced. Pete Buttigieg led the Democratic Party nomination with 26.8% of the votes, with Bernie Sanders trailing behind with 25.2%. The GOP primary nomination went to current President Donald Trump with 97.1% of the vote. If you have not registered to vote yet, there's still time. With the exception of North Dakota, every state requires citizens to register. You can do so on vote.org or download the National Mail Voter Registration Form. For more information, you can visit usa.gov. Now, on to an interview with Dr. Greg Carlson about Sundance.
So today I'm here with Greg about Sundale. Can you tell me a little about what Sundale is?
Sundance Film Festival is held every January in Park City, Utah, and it's the largest independent film festival in the United States. It's where a lot of films will have their world premiere and go on to be distributed on Netflix or Amazon, or many play in theaters.
Very interesting. So can you tell me a little about what kind of movies they're more? Is there a genre each year, or is it some specific things?
Well, they have a variety of categories, including nonfiction and fiction films, animation, short films, experimental work, all kinds of different content, including episodic. So when I go every January and I try to see at least a dozen films. I got to see 16 this year while I was there.
So there's a lot of movies there.
There are a lot of movies there.
So it's something for everyone, or?
I would say so. I mean, they even have films that are designed for children and family audiences, but they're known for playing content that can be edgy. There's a category called Midnight, and they play a lot of horror films in that category.
So you can take with your date as well there and watch some horror movies.
You could find something for anyone.
So is that over? Is it one day, or is it like multiple days?
It's held. It's at least 10 days. I'm not exactly sure how many there were this year. Most people will go to either the first half or the second half. If you're really wealthy or it's part of your job, you might stay for the entire duration of the festival. But most films are shown multiple times in different places.
Okay, so if you lose a movie, you can still watch it.
You can still track it down. Yeah, still have another shot at it if there's great buzz. But sometimes the ticket demand will go up if a movie is really exciting, and then it's harder to get tickets to it.
So how is the ticketing works there? Is it like you buy for each, or can you buy for multiplied days?
Yeah, you can do both of those things. If you have the means, you could get a really expensive pass that would allow you to go into pretty much any movie anytime, but that's at the top of the food chain, very expensive. Most people will buy individual tickets, are $25 per movie, and they have an app that you put on your phone called the e-wait list, and that allows you to, if there aren't any tickets available, you can still get a place in line, and if they because they want to fill every seat, then you can buy a ticket at the last minute.
So you can still be on the list of short terms. So if you're like interested in this, and you go and find out more, is it possible to go on Facebook or contact them? Do you have a website?
They do have a Facebook page. They're also just simply at sundance.org, the home of the Sundance Institute, and there's lots of resources for creative artists there, people who want to learn more about working in the film industry, developing content, and how to reach out to people who can help you do that.
So let's say you're a creator, or like wants to get to know the community. Is that possible there, or is it more like hectical, like, oh, we need to ding, 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 ding?
Well, one of the most fun aspects for me about attending Sundance each year is that you stand in line waiting to get into the films. Usually they load the theaters 30 minutes before showtime. Prior to that, you have to stand in line. So you can turn to the person next to you and say, are you here with the film? This year, on our first day, a group of us went to have some pizza on Main Street, and we sat down next to a group of people that we didn't know and struck up a conversation. It turned out it was the cast of Charm City Kings, and a few days later they won a jury award in U.S. drama for ensemble acting. So it was really exciting.
I can believe it. Thank you so much, Greg, for being here today and we learned a lot about Sundance. And now over to sport.
It's been a while, sports fans. In case you forgot, I'm still Grant.
And I'm still Dom.
And in men's basketball, both the men's and the women's basketball teams sadly fell to Hamlin in last Monday's doubleheader. The men were bested by the Pipers by a score of 75-68. Despite holding a 31-29 lead at the half, Concordia could not pull away with a strong run in the second half, allowing Hamlin to come back and take the victory. Brighton Urie led Concordia with 25 of the team's 68 points. This loss drops the men to 2-18 overall and 0-15 in the MIAC. The men's next contest will be at Bethel tonight.
The women suffered a similar fate to the men, falling by just 3 points, 72-69. Every time Concordia went on a run, Hamlin seemed to have an answer. The loss overshadowed Mary Sem's monstrous 34-point game. That marks only the 5th time in school history that a player has eclipsed 33 points in a single game. This loss drops the Cobbers' record to 8-11 overall and 6-8 in conference play. The women's next game will be number 5 ranked Bethel tonight.
Junior Josie Herman backed up her win in the season opener by claiming the only event win for Concordia at UND. She raced to a 2:17.48 finish in the 800 meters, which was the 4th fastest time in the MIAC all year. The Cobbers trio of throwers, Kale Hovland, Allison Kangas, and Kelsey Rajewski, notched finishes of 6th, 8th, and 9th place against Division I and II competition. Both the men and women will travel to NDSU this next weekend for their next meet.
The men's track team walked away with some hardware in UND. Cal Wright claimed 3rd place in the 200 meter and Jesse Middledorf claimed 1st in the 800. Eric Wickland won the 3000, which is his 2nd event win in the past 2 meets. Junior Jake Steiner finished in the top 6, including the shot put. Let's see if the men can keep up the success in the coming meets this season.
I'm here today with Dr. Ulrika Brenning. She's from Germany, Hanover, correct?
Yes, it is.
Hanover, Germany, and she's here visiting. So welcome to Concordia On-Air.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us again. You were here in the fall, correct? Yes. Can you tell us about what you were doing here in the fall, and I guess what brings you back here now?
In September, we were here with a group of students and with my colleague Michael, and we visit Concordia to do an exchange with our students and your students. And this was a great experience for us.
Oh, exciting.
And I get some friendships here, and so this is for me a high motivation to come back, because now in Germany there are holidays in the university.
Oh, okay. That's awesome that you decided to come back. So can you tell us about what the students you came with in the fall, like what they were working on?
They did a film about Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Okay.
In comparison with Fargo-Moorhead, especially the culture.
Oh, okay.
And they met some painters, some musicians. They had a Prince cover band concert, so they made a little movie about this. And then we made some pictures about the journey with the car up to the highway until here to Fargo. And then we joined this jazz class here and the choir and made some interviews. And now it is almost ready, the stuff.
Okay.
It's 20 minutes long, and it's quite perfect now. But at least there's a color correction now, and this is very, very intensive work.
What kind of, can you tell me about the process of like going from just like the footage you had captured while you were here to its almost final almost final form now? What did that production process look like?
Sure. When you have your footage, then you make a shot list, and you decide which part is interesting and which parts can go together in a very good way. And we did interviews, so one have to decide which parts of the interview will fit to another picture. And when you got this, then you can start editing. And we have a very complicated editing system, and the students are so angry with this. But the result is high professional, so they see, oh, that works.
That's awesome.
And when it's ready, we have a post-production with a color and with a sound.
And so I know that you do have an interest in audio as well, and you're coming to talk to the audio production class later this week. So can you tell me about your interest there?
Well, I'm a musician,
Okay.
and so I'm very interested in all what connected with hearing. And a very good film, has a soundtrack with sounds and music, and also with voices. So if the sound is good, it helps the picture to come up. You can have a very bad picture, but a sound will lift it up. And so that's a very interesting experience. So that's brought me to audio.
Yes, yeah. Did you help a lot with the audio part of the editing with the students you worked with?
Yes.
What kind of stuff did you do with that?
I helped them to decide which sound will be in front and which can be slowed down, and what is appropriate music, for example.
Yeah, awesome. All right, well, thank you so much for joining us today, and it was so nice to have you back. Now on to A&E.
Welcome to A&E. I'm Gabe.
And I'm KJ.
If you love art, then now's the time to check out Concordia's 2020 Faculty Art Show. Held now through February 23rd in the Cyrus M. Running Gallery, the exhibit features pieces from multiple faculty members, including Jessica Matson-Fluto, Heidi Goldberg, Ross Hilgers, Christian Mortensen, Dwight Mickelson, and Lindsay Bramell. Some of the pieces are also for sale, so if you find something you like, you can take it home with you. So be sure to check out the amazing art of Concordia's faculty before it's gone. So KJ,
Yeah.
have you been to the art show? And if so, what did you think of it?
Yes, I was just there today, and I think it's pretty interesting. There's a lot of different things to see there, and a lot of different types of art too.
To observe, yeah.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on kind of just Concordia showing faculty pieces? Because it seems like some of what we've seen has been outside artists before. and now it's more specific.
Yeah, I like that they show that what the faculty have to show because they are art faculty. It's what their job is, and they should be able to show their work at the college that they work at.
I agree with that. I think it's really nice to see because we get to see what they're working on, and it seems like a lot of the time we get to see what the students are working on, kind of down in Olin.
Yeah.
A lot. They usually have something set up down there, but it's really cool to now see what the professors themselves also are doing on their own time. Are there any pieces in there that you really liked or that really caught your eye, or maybe even ones that you didn't like as much?
My personal favorite is the ones with the cats. Like, there's like 3 pictures with these cats. They're super cute.
I think I know which ones you're talking about. On the on the wall, they're the smaller.
Yeah, they're
prints.
like really small, but they have these cute little cats on them, and I think they're so cute. A lot of them I thought they were kind of eerie looking, but they're still kind of cool even if they're eerie, you know?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Some of them, there's a big variation in there, I think. It's interesting to see the combination because there's a lot of photography, for one, that you can see, and then there's also some paintings and some sculpture all at once. And so I think the most eye-catching one for me was definitely the paintings of women, of the women.
Yeah.
Which were very vibrant and I thought very well done. And what do you think about the possible prospect of having a student art show?
I like that because the students work really hard to show their art, and they deserve a chance to show it.
I think so too. I think, and I suppose now thinking about it, that they have the other ones, but I think it'd be cool. So let's hear about Hamilton.
On August 6, 2015, the world turned upside down when a new musical called Hamilton took its place in the Richard Rodgers Theater on Broadway. Winning 13 Tony Awards and a Pulitzer Prize in Drama, Hamilton took the world by storm. A story about the founding father, Alexander Hamilton, and his life and struggles told through modern music with a mix of old Broadway. Now on stages all over the world, including multiple tours in the U.S., West End in England, and soon will be opening in Toronto and Hamburg later this year. However, if you haven't had a chance to be in the room where it happens, now's your chance. Earlier this week, Lin-Manuel Miranda, the creator of Hamilton and Disney, announced that they will be releasing an edited stage performance with the original cast of Hamilton. This movie is currently expected to release on October 15th, 2021. A little over a year after the release of the movie version of Miranda's other musical, In the Heights. Don't throw away your shot and see this incredible show with its original cast. So, you've told me that you've listened to a couple of songs from the soundtrack, and what do you think about it?
The ones that I heard, I did like. I believe two of the ones that I remember hearing were You'll Be Back was one, and the second, I think, was Right Hand Man. And both of them, I really liked that. The first one I listened to was "You'll Be Back," and it sounded like something that you'd hear in. It sounded like something out of a normal musical, and so then moving on to "Right Hand Man," it was a very different sound, and so I thought that was cool that that both of those can exist, in the same musical. And I also I thought they were also very well worded too.
Yeah, along playing with that. Like, almost each of the characters has their own style. Like, Angelica, she's like the one woman who really raps, where Eliza does more of the softer, pretty melodies. And I find that really interesting that they can mix all that music together to convey a certain message.
Yeah, definitely. Especially with it being kind of, still a historical play, so to speak. I think it's cool that they can make it fit and make it work even with this new styles of music.
Yeah, it really affects like how unique it is and how special that Hamilton is because it is conveying historical stories through modernized music.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Well, that's all we have. On to the movie corner.
Good evening, film fans. I'm Dom.
And I'm back from Sundance.
And I'm also back from Sundance. We both went to Sundance Film Festival with Greg. You saw Greg Carlson gave a little review of that, and we are going to share 5 of the 6 movies that Grant and I had watched together. I watched 6 movies at Sundance. How many did you? Or excuse me, not 6. Nine movies at Sundance.
I watched 13.
13, over a dozen.
Yeah.
Holy cowza.
A baker's dozen.
Absolutely. So the first movie that we saw together was on the first night. We saw Kajillionaire.
Yes, we just got there, just ate some pizza, then we got tickets to Kajillionaire.
The pizza was very great.
Yes.
Also the calzones.
And Kajillionaire
was amazing.
Yes,
as well.
it was.
I really liked the acting by the lead.
Yes.
Evan Rachel Wood. She's very phenomenal.
And Miranda July can just keep pumping out movies, and I will keep watching them.
Yes.
Very good. Love her style.
That was the director. 4 stars. Very great.
Very good.
Great movie.
Very great movie.
The next movie that we had watched was Never, Rarely, Sometimes, Always. That was a movie that followed. I guess we should probably give some synopsis. Why don't you say about what Kajillionaire was about?
I mean, you can't really put it into words. It's wacky. It's about family. It's about wanting to belong. It's just got so many emotional beats. I can't really put it into words. It was a fun time. It's got heart. It's got jokes.
Yes, there's a lot to be said about it. Never, Rarely, Sometimes, Always is a movie about a young woman trying to find her way, trying to navigate New York in order to find to have an abortion, and she's there with her friend,
her cousin.
Yes, her cousin, and they are just trying to navigate the streets of New York, and it's very apparent that the odds are stacked against them.
Very procedural. They take it one step at a time.
It's very. I loved it. I love the movie.
I thought it was pretty good.
The next movie that we watched is called Jumbo.
Jumbo. This one, I think it all depends on your mindset going into it. What you're gonna think of it.
Absolutely. I went into it thinking that it would be great, and I came out thinking it was just the same. I really liked it. A French movie. It is about a woman who falls in love with an amusement park ride.
Yes.
That she names Jumbo.
Yeah, she basically visits the amusement park ride every night, and it's got a little bit of magical realism in there because the amusement park ride is alive when it's just the two of them together, but it leaves a little question as to if it's really alive, because whenever other people are around, it doesn't seem to be.
They just have a very close, intimate relationship with them themselves.
But that doesn't stop their love, nonetheless.
All right, the next movie that we watched is Bloody Nose, Empty Pockets, which is the only documentary that I had seen at the festival. This was my favorite movie that we saw.
Ooh, really?
This movie follows a Las Vegas bar on the last day of its being open, and it kind of just shows all of the people there. It's a glance into Americana, and you watch them kind of lament as to where they are in life and whether or not they've made it, and their successes and their falls in life.
One interesting thing about the movie, it's a documentary, but like they brought in like non-actors still, but they brought them into this bar. It's not like they were regulars, but they just brought them together and then just filmed their interactions for 18 continuous hours.
18-hour shoot.
Yeah.
And it was a pair of brothers that directed it, and I absolutely loved it. I was laughing and crying. It was probably the funniest movie I've seen.
It took a little while to get into it, to buy in, but once you did buy in, it was great. It was just like you were hanging out at a bar with all these wacky people.
Absolutely. And the last film that we saw together, we watched at different times. Did you watch this late at night?
I watched it late at night.
Yes. It is called Omniboat. A fast boat fantasia. This is an absurdist movie.
Oh my gosh.
By all accounts, it is a bunch of vignettes that are tied together by one boat in each of the scenes. And
except for one of my least favorite scenes.
There is one with not a lot of the boat in it.
That really tested people, because that's probably the part where a lot of people walked out in some of the screenings.
I had never seen so many people walk out of a film in my life, but I absolutely love the movie. The people that we went to Sundance with also loved the movie.
40.
All aboard the Omniboat.
Absolutely. Grant and I had a great time at Sundance. We can't wait to maybe go some other time, but for now, Thanks for coming to Concordia On Air. Have a good night.
Bye.
Oh, 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 oh.